Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report, and starting with the ASX 200 here. We'd been working up this particular structure through here, and I noted that it was a corrective pattern, and we labelled it wave A, and then we looked for the 61.8% retracement level for wave B, and then we were looking for a impulse wave for wave C coming into the 5,800. We know 8 is a profit-taking number, so we know that we had to use that as our target area. Now the thing here is that all of this particular pattern here is corrective, and the problem is that this particular low here, where we've counted 5 waves down here from the top here, if this is breached, which is likely to be breached here because this is corrective. This was okay as being corrective because we were looking for a higher move to the upside. This particular market here was kind of in line with the Nifty and the Nikkei, and China and Hong Kong have kind of got their own things going on a little bit, and of course this market works with the US markets and European markets as well on an intraday basis. But yeah, we'll have a look at the Nifty and the Nikkei in the bigger picture as well. So yeah, if this is breached here, then we've got ourselves a much bigger bearish picture emerging here, so we need to be a little bit mindful of that, and we'll have a look at this little trend in here in a little bit of detail here shortly. So just on the 2-hour chart here, this is what we were looking at. So I still had it labeled because we were looking from wave 4 down to wave 5 here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but noting this was all corrective here, so I hadn't really wanted to change this particular low here at this particular stage, but in the first instance here, we're going to have to look at this here as just as a bit of a nutshell here, as a bit of a wave 1 here and a wave 2 over here, because it pulled back to the 50-60% retracement level of this last trend down here. So it's highly likely that we're going to see the markets move lower from here. So in the slightly bigger picture here, this is the 4-hour chart, we can count 5 waves down through here. I mean, we could even go to the extent of having wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and wave 5 here. And a lot of the other markets, like the US markets, have had this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and that's what the Nikkei and the Nifty has done as well. But this market had this little corrective pattern here, didn't really have that nice push up there. So if we have a quick look at those markets, so let's say the Nikkei, see the Nikkei here, so we've had this A, B, and C here, very much like the US, and we can come back to this one, and also the Nifty as well. I think it's kind of important to kind of bring these things together a little bit. Like the Nifty had this nice 5-wave structure to the upside here, but that structure to the upside here is an A and a B and a C wave here. For wave D or wave 2, probably wave 2 at this stage, but we can get to that. But we know we've got a top in here. But this was all what I'm trying to say is this is all really clear here. We had this nice push up from here, from these 5 waves down, coming down through here, and it's likely that this is just a corrective move, corrective rally into the 11,000, our target area there. So and the S&P's the same as well in this case. So coming back to the Australian market here, you know, those markets, if I can just borrow one of these here, just looking at this as a corrective pattern. So all the other markets, to just get this straight, all the other markets around the place were pretty much like an A, B, and C wave here. But this move down through here, in most cases, in the US markets and in the other markets we just looked at, was in 3 waves here. But in this case, we've got 5 waves here. Yeah, so it's kind of opposite what we got, because we've got a corrective pattern in here and we've got an impulse pattern in the other market. So it's not really working with the other market. It is and it isn't. So so we just need to be a little bit sort of mindful of that. Yeah, at this stage here, you know, if we tighten things up a little bit and looked at this as 1 and 2, well, that 2 now would have to move over to here, 3, 4, and 5 here. This doesn't necessarily have to be the A wave here. This can be, I mean, a corrective wave, but it can have, well, it's just not lining up with the other market. So that's my problem. We've got to work it out. But it does leave this situation here again as wave 1 down here and wave 2 back to this point. So it's probable that we're going to be coming down here further. So our little quest today really is to figure out this little movement in here. So when I come to the hourly chart here, it's kind of logical to put this pattern here as, we'll just put that up there, wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 probably not finished down here like this. And if that was the case, then we would see a 50-60% retracement level coming wherever that low came in from here. So let's say 5, 6 even here. So then we could look for a bounce at this point here, and then further down at that point there. So what we really want, I mean, if you're not short already, then we need to look for this bounce to get into the short side of things, okay? So we need to investigate this here. We know that the S&P is pulling the market around, the bigger markets. So when we look at the US market, I'm just going to bring this across here. This is the S&P 500. And this is a tick chart, but it's not on the 100 ticks that I normally look at. This is on 20 ticks here. Okay, so this is the current move down from the top. We were looking for the S&P 500 to come to 2800 here, so that's in play here. So the move down through here so far with this here is kind of interesting, because we can call the first 5 waves down here as wave 1 and wave 2, and then 1 and 2, and then we've got 5 waves in this section here for wave 3 here. And it's basically from the last low and top here, we're at the 61.8% here, but I think it's just a wave 4 here, so it'll just pull back, probably won't even pull back up to the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, which is here. It will probably be a bit lower than that, but yeah, so what we need to see here, this could be construed as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down into the 50-60% retracement level. But if we see 5 waves moving down through here, which is likely, then yeah, then we can you know, move much lower from that point. So we've got this pattern here. So if I put the ASX 200 in the same pattern here with this market as such, then just bringing that across here, then this is how it would be counted. Instead of having those 5 waves down, as I just mentioned, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, which it could be possible, this one here would be wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4 here. That would pull back up to roughly the 4th wave of 1 lesser degree, but it'll be under pressure. So and then down for wave 5 here. So I can't draw on this side of the tick chart here, but we'd be looking at wave 5 of wave 3, and we can move that down to 5, 6. 5, 6 is a really important number, so we'll see the bounce there. Once we get that bounce there, then we'd be looking at wave 4 here, and then wave 5 coming into play here at this point. So it's kind of where we are within that structure. That's based on the US side of things. So so even once this comes down here, 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for the third wave, the fourth wave pulling back to the fourth wave, 1 lesser degree or probably a bit lower, and then wave 5 down here, then we can look for the ABC rally here. And then we can look to short again on that particular rally, okay? So we just need to be a little bit mindful. Yes, we will see more downside, the probability of that. The question is that this could also be a low in place here, and we could see the market move up from there. But if we see it move up in a corrective pattern, then we'll be looking for a short to the downside. And the short to the downside would move quite quickly to the downside. So we need to be mindful of that. So if we can go back to the Australian market here, and we can look at some numbers here, we know that the 27 here would probably line up with the 2700 here would line up with the 5-6. So just I need to move these out of the way because they're just separate work charts here. So so I don't think this is actually labeled the way that I've got it here as wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I don't think that's the case. So I think that we need to rearrange this a little bit here. So bringing this down to here, and we would need to look at in fact, let's just go to the 2-hour chart here where it will be a little bit easier here. So if I take this wave 1 here and bring this over here, this will bring, I think I made a mistake there before, but that's okay. So this would be 1, 2, 1, 2, and from this top here, this would be 1 and 2 in here, 3 in here to come down a bit further in here, a 4 and 5 here, and then a 4 and a 5 to here, and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2, and then down from that point. So you put that there and that there. So we're going to see a fair bit of activity crossing around the 5-6 here. So be careful you don't get chopped up in all of this in this space here. And then we need to look at the bigger picture of this. So it's a bit of a strange bigger picture. If we go to might just go straight to the monthly chart here, and this may not be the case here. One of the problems that we've got here with this is a monthly chart here. So one of the problems we've got here, we've had the GFC down through here, but we've never made a new high here. The other markets have, the US markets have, Commonwealth Bank has, but a lot of the other markets haven't. But the problem is that we've got 5 waves up here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Okay, so when we've got the 5 waves up here, yes, we could call this wave 3 here, and we could have wave 4, this wave 4 sitting over here, and we could call this wave 5 up here and call it a truncated 5th wave here. So we haven't made a top here, and we've got a top in place, and that's possible. But seeing a truncated 5th wave at this degree of structure is very unusual. It's like we haven't seen this since the 30s or 40s. So, but it's possible. So then we're stuck with, well, we've got 5 waves up here. So, well, we could have this 5 waves up here as wave 1, and then we have an A and a B and a C back here into this space here for wave 2, and then we just go straight up here for wave 3 up this space. So that's possible as well, but we just need to see about that. But the other pattern here is a bit complicated. So we know 4th waves are complicated. So we've got wave 3 over here, and looking at this as an A wave here, an A wave here in 5 waves, a B wave here, and a C wave here for the B wave, and then down for the C wave of wave 4 here. It's a possibility. It's probably one of the best fits really, but I don't know how that fits in with the rest of the world. And then we go up for wave 5 here. Don't worry about the time scale here either, because I haven't given that any consideration, just mapping out the particular pattern here. But there's two things here that we might as well talk about while we're here as well, is from this low here to this high here. This is the 50-60% retracement level. So that's down below the 5,000 area here. So it's possible. The other one to take in the first instance is from this low here to this high here, and looking at the 50-60% retracement level within that space here, because that will definitely offer some support. So that comes in around the 5,300 area here. Okay, so that 5,300, if we come back to let's go to the 4-hour chart, 5,300. So that's down here at that space, just on this 4-hour chart here. So these two targets here, I know 56 is important. Well, as you can see, it's a number that Gann used all the time, used to buy on that number and sell on that number, but I don't fully understand it. But my number comes in at 5.5 here, so the 500 and the 300 area through here. So we need to first of all see that we're going to get 5 waves in this particular space here first. Let's have a quick look at the other markets. So for China, we've been working in a, just on the 4-hour chart here, we've been working from wave 3 over here. It was possible to have wave 4 over here as an A and a B and a C here, but yeah, but the rest of this is just working out in nice triangle patterns. So from wave 3 here, we've got an A, B, and C for the A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave here. And then we're looking for the C wave up in 3 waves, an A and a B and a C into the 50-60% retracement level area here. So we can see that it's being sold off here. So don't need that one here, don't need that one here. And so for this now, we can look at this here. So we look at that moving down. Well, it's either going to be moving down into this space or even further down here. I suppose it's just a bit tricky to say, but we should see some sort of something like that here. That probably come down to the 11,000 maybe. Anyway, we're looking for three waves for wave D and then wave E here, and then looking to move in on the short side over here. You can move in onto the short side here as well, but you'll have to leave the stop out of play here, and yeah, which is not such a bad idea. So still quite a long way off here really, but yeah, the stop would need to be left out of the way up here somewhere for that. And also to the Hong Kong market was doing the same but different. So let's just go and have a little look at that. So we were looking at wave 3 here, and we were looking at an A wave and a B wave and a C wave here for wave 4, pulling back to the 38.2% retracement level, or the wave 4 of one lesser degree, which is a bit higher at the 28,000 here. So but we have been counting 5 waves up in this little structure here. So let's just have a look at that. Go to the 4-hour chart. I think we're working on the 3-hour chart. So yeah, it hasn't sold off as much, but certainly come down and covered that gap there. So we're looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. Looks like we're sort of still possibly one wave. Yeah, well, just one wave short here. So there still may be another wave in here for this market. But as I've mentioned, saying a little while ago, is that, you know, when we're talking with tops and bottoms, because some markets are leading and some are following, some of them don't finish off quite well as you'd expect them to. So we're looking for a 5th wave to move up here, and maybe that is the little fifth wave without making a high here and having a truncated fifth wave here. So I'm not quite sure about that. So let's just see anyway. Before we short this, I really want to see this market give us a nice 5 waves down and then the 3 waves back up at that point. So we're not there yet for that. So just want to move this out of the way for the time being. Yeah, it's funny because that's the high here, and then all this here is corrective. We've got this 1 and 2 here. Okay, I'll have to sort of figure that out. But there could be another, until this technically moves lower through here. I mean, we could still have one more little push here for this and then down. But otherwise, we'll just move down through here. But I'm not too worried. I want to see it move down, and then I want to see the corrective move up, and then we'll put our trigger onto this to the downside. So let's just allow this to work out a little bit further here. And going into Japan here. So, yeah, this is the thing here is that, I could count this wave 3 over here with an A wave here, an A and a B and a C here for the B wave, and down for the C wave here of wave 4, and have that finished here, and that's fine. And then we're looking at this moving up here. So this has moved up in a corrective fashion here. It could still be impulse in terms of wave 1 and 2, and then wave 1 and 2 here. But if it takes out this low here, then it's confirmed that that we've got it as a corrective pattern. So as a corrective pattern, then we would need to consider firstly wave 5 in place up here, and then we would also need to consider this whole move down here as wave 1, and an A wave and a B wave and a C wave for wave 2. And if that's the case, we're going to be moving into a very strong third wave here. And if that's going to be the case, then we're going to see that occur in most of the other markets as well. So yeah, we're not quite confirmed this just yet, but that's there. The other count for this though too is that all of this can be still in wave 4 here, but just not finished yet. So more of a corrective pattern to move across here. But let's just see how this plays out here. But on the hourly chart here, we've done our job here. We're looking at this as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave moving up here. And yeah, we've counted it reasonably well. There's wave 1 and 2 here. Went to go long in this space into the wave 3 and 4 here. And then the extension's been in wave 5 here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and wave 5 also not finishing off very well on that on the gap here as well, but certainly sold off here as well. So what we're looking for here before we can, there's no point in shorting this here because it can drop further, but you'll only get trapped here. So what we need to do is we need to wait for the bounce here with this, but also too I want to see how how this develops in here as a pattern, and also is this low here in jeopardy as well. But if it's going to turn into a bear market, we've got time, this because it's just the beginning of it here, and this will be the same for the Nikkei as well, the Nifty rather. So yeah, so same pattern to the downside here, and looking at this here as an A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and then we're looking for 5 waves up here, and we had a target at 11,000, so that's been taken out, and we're looking at 5 waves moving up in this section here, so that's in there as well in terms of wave B low here, and 1 and 2, and the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. This fifth wave here, it does appear that it's in 3 waves here, but and it's possible that that all of this here is, if I just copy this here, and I think I've talked about this before, of having wave 4 over here with this, so it'd still be probably another little move down for this as well here, for this to come into play here, but there can be one more little wave here, but I'm not interested in this at the moment. We want to see how this develops as a top, and we were looking to take profit here as well on this instance here. So yeah, we've done our job. It's done here. Does this look like 5 waves coming to the downside? Not really. It looks a little bit more corrective. So I want to gather some more information on this. And this is one of the stronger markets in Asia. So we don't want to go shorting this without any real evidence in play here for this. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm just going to leave it at that at the moment. And it does appear the US banks are the ones that are sort of dragging this down as such. Shorting banks and buying gold, the old story. Okay, cheers.